In a brain scan, future you can register like a stranger, which is why saving for age 65 feels irrational in the moment. You know retirement is real, but the paycheck in front of you feels louder than the emergency 30 years away. But here's what nobody tells you. Your brain is built to protect now you, not later you. If you've ever said I'll start next month, and meant it, that's me too. So why does your logic disappear the second rent, food, and life show up? In this video, you'll discover the hidden mechanism that makes future goals feel optional, and why the modern money system turns that weakness into a default setting. Let's break down the present bias trap and why it's so hard to escape. Meet Maya, 29, who stares at her benefits portal every year and still never raises her 401 contribution. Meet Chris, 41, who gets a bonus and instantly needs new tires, a weekend trip, and a bigger grocery budget. And meet Lena, 56, who says she'll catch up later, while later keeps moving like a mirage. None of them are reckless, stupid, or unaware. They're normal people inside a normal brain. The pattern is simple. Future plans are always the first thing cut when the present gets even slightly uncomfortable. It shows up as tiny decisions, skipping contributions, just this pay period, upgrading one bill, adding one subscription. Then 3 months pass and nothing changed except the baseline got heavier. So why does this happen even when you genuinely care about your future? Start with a brutal truth. Your brain doesn't feel time evenly. An extra $200 today feels concrete. $200 for 65-year-old you feels like a story. That pull toward now has a name, present bias, also called temporal discounting. It's the same force that makes I'll work out tomorrow feel easy and I'll work out today feel expensive. Your mind runs a silent trade, comfort now versus security later, and now usually wins. Not because you're weak, because now is vivid and later is abstract. Researchers studying future self-continuity found the brain can treat the future self differently from the present self. When future you feels like other people, saving starts to feel like charity. That's why the same person can be generous to friends, yet stingy to their retirement account. This is where it clicks. You're not fighting math first, you're fighting identity. The goal isn't just save more, it's make future you feel real. And here's where it gets interesting. Your money system is designed around the opposite. Look at a paycheck, it arrives, then immediately gets assigned to categories before you even breathe. Rent, utilities, debt, groceries, subscriptions. Your brain pre-spends the money in seconds. That mental filing system is called mental accounting, and it's powerful. Because once money is labeled rent money, it becomes emotionally unavailable for anything else. So when you hear, save for retirement, your brain replies, with what? Maya isn't choosing between saving and spending, she's choosing between saving and violating a mental rule. And breaking a rule feels like danger, even if the rule is invisible. Now add reference point adaptation. Whatever your life looks like becomes normal faster than you think. A slightly nicer apartment becomes baseline, not upgrade. In a matter of weeks, a higher grocery spend becomes what it costs, not what we chose. So the raise doesn't feel like extra, it feels like permission to update the baseline. That's why I should be fine now becomes, why do I still feel behind? Chris sees $400 extra per month and his brain immediately spends it on comfort repairs. Not luxury relief, less stress, less friction, fewer sacrifices. Present bias doesn't chase yachts, it chases the end of discomfort. And the most dangerous part is how reasonable it sounds in your head. I'll just start after this month becomes a loop because the month is never calm. Federal data shows many adults near retirement do have tax-preferred accounts, but that still leaves a large share without them. So the story isn't people don't care, it's people are constantly triaging. But here's what changes everything. The trap isn't your discipline, it's your default settings. Imagine saving for retirement as paying a bill to a stranger who never sends reminders. Your landlord does, your credit card does, your phone plan does, future you doesn't. So mental accounting prioritizes the loudest invoices, not the most important ones. This is why automatic systems work so well. They move saving from choice to infrastructure. Notice the shift. When saving is automatic, present bias has less time to negotiate. That's also why frictionless spending is so dangerous. One tap turns maybe into done. Modern finance reduced friction for buying, not for protecting future. You. Even the language is biased. Contribution sounds optional. Payment due sounds mandatory. And if you've ever avoided opening a retirement statement, you're not alone. Avoidance is a protection reflex. If you don't look, you don't feel the pain of the gap. That's loss aversion. Losses feel heavier than gains, so the mind dodges loss feelings. Looking at not enough feels like a loss even if nothing changed today. So the brain chooses short-term emotional safety over long-term financial safety. Pattern interrupt. Stop thinking about retirement as one giant mountain. Think of it as identity drift. Each month you either stay aligned with future you or you drift a little. Drift feels harmless because it's small, the compounding is what hurts, and your baseline adapts faster than your savings rate. Even the rules reward delay. You can always start later until later becomes expensive. For $2,206, the IRS contribution limit for a 401 is $24,500. Huge on paper, hard in real life. So what does this mean for you if saving for 65-year-old you feels impossible? It means you're not broken, you're predictable. Present bias is a design constraint, like gravity. Ignore it and you keep falling into the same pattern. Mental accounting isn't a flaw either. It's how your brain reduces complexity. The issue is that your categories were built for survival bills, not for long-horizon outcomes. So the real skill is noticing when a temporary exception is actually a baseline update, when a subscription becomes normal, when takeout becomes the default, when just this month repeats. That awareness is the first way future you becomes less abstract, because patterns are visible. And the second is emotional. Future you stops being a stranger when you can picture the consequences. Not dramatic consequences, real ones. Choices about work, health, where you live, who you can help. This is why the debate isn't 401k versus IRA. It's automatic versus negotiable. Once saving is negotiable, present bias shows up like a lawyer for your comfort. The empowering reframe is this: you're not trying to become a different person. You're trying to build a system where your best intentions don't require willpower every 2 weeks. And that loops back to the hook. If future you feels like a stranger, saving will always feel like a sacrifice. Drop a comment if you've noticed this pattern in your own life. What's the later you keep postponing? I break down financial psychology like this every week. If this clicked for you, there's more where this came from. Next time, I'm diving into why small monthly payments can keep you trapped for decades without you noticing.